Hello and welcome back to Citizen Speak. My name is Garrett Martin. I'm your host. Thank you so much for listening today. Yesterday, Robert Deere, the pathetic man who shot up the Planned Parenthood, appeared in court. And one of his outbursts, if you haven't heard it already, you're probably living under a rock, but I'm going to repeat it right now anyway, is that I am the warrior of babies. This guy is clearly brainwashed by the conservative media and by the Planned Parenthood videos that were created by a group that infiltrated Planned Parenthood and had hundreds and hundreds of hours of recording and spliced them together in a way that made it look like Planned Parenthood was actually doing something wrong. And I know some of the listeners out there will say, oh, no, I've seen the videos. You know, they said that they were selling the parts. No, the videos were cut to make it sound like they're selling the parts. What actually happens is Planned Parenthood, if there is an abortion, and, you know, it goes through and they have the fetal tissue afterwards, what they do is they already have contracts set up with science agencies or labs for these fetal tissue. And what they do is they only recoup money for transportation of the fetal tissue. They're not making any money off of this. And your tax dollars aren't going to it either. The money that goes towards performing abortions for people who don't have insurance to cover it, or who don't have money to cover it, I should say, that comes from private funding. It doesn't come from your tax dollars. There's laws that actually prevent that. So you don't have to worry about Planned Parenthood using your tax dollars, any penny of it, towards an abortion. But that's not what these videos make it sound like. They make it sound like Planned Parenthood is making big money off of these fetuses. They're not. It's absolutely not true. And I mean, believe me or not, facts are facts, whether you believe them or not. Well, Robert Deere also in court today, he had outbursts like, well, Planned Parenthood has a lot of things that they do in there that you don't want to know and that they don't want you to know, but you got to put it in the paper. That's your job. You got to put it in the paper. I hope that I don't have to tell anybody this, that what Robert Deere did not help his cause. Hey, Robert Deere, since you shot up that Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs, does Planned Parenthood still do abortions? Well, I guess it didn't work then, did it? You know, if you want to make a change in the system, you don't go out with a gun and shoot up innocent people. And I know to somebody like Robert Deere, no one who's in that facility is innocent. But that's not the way that you make your change. That's not the way that you make your point. Unless your point is to show that you're a coward who is too afraid to actually get involved in the political system, then okay, I'll call you a coward. But if you really want to make a change, get out there and lobby. Get out there and have petitions signed. Get out there and vote. And get your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. Get people around you to vote. And that helps change the system. Not committing crimes like this, not committing atrocities where you go in and you gun down innocent people. It's funny that there's been so many attacks on Planned Parenthood by these cowards who call themselves pro-life. How are you going to be pro-life when you're going and killing people? I mean, these people haven't committed any crimes. But you sure are when you go in and commit this act of murder. These are innocent people. Some of them are going in for STD screenings or to receive information on safe sex or getting mammograms or any of the other many services that Planned Parenthood has. the amount of abortions that Planned Parenthood does is only about 3% of all of the services that they offer. Only about 3% of what they do at Planned Parenthood is abortions. The rest of it is helping women, helping men, and helping with sexual education. That's it. That's what they're there for. It's called Planned Parenthood. They're there to help families plan for the future, or individuals plan for the future, plan to be parents in the future. I've said this before in my Twitter, at CitSpeak, that's CITZ Speak, if you want to look at it right now. But I've said this many times, that if you don't like abortion, if you don't want abortion to happen, and by the way, nobody actually likes abortion. Abortion is messy, it's ugly, and it's horrifying. But that doesn't mean that you get to go shoot up a Planned Parenthood, or you get to take away someone's choice to do this. It's a choice that isn't made lightly. But if you don't want abortion to happen, you don't go out and ban abortion, or you don't go out and shoot abortion providers, or set clinics on fire, or restrict access to abortions. Texas, here's talking to you. You go out and you demand comprehensive sex ed to be taught in your schools. If you look at the countries who have the lowest abortion rates, you'll find that they teach comprehensive sex ed. And not just in high school, they teach it at 4th and 5th grade levels. But they teach it appropriately for those age groups. And as the kids get older, they get to have a little bit more in-depth sexual education. But if you look at the states or countries that have the highest abortion rates, they actually promote abstinence-only sexual education. They're not teaching about the importance of condoms or the importance of birth control or what happens if you do have sex, realistic standards of if you do have sex. You know, I've watched some videos out there of the abstinence-only education, and they compare women to pieces of bubble gum or masking tape that just loses its stickiness. What a horrible way to describe a woman. To describe her vagina over time. It's not true. It's not true whatsoever, but you're shaming women or young girls into not having sex. If you don't like abortions happening and you don't want them to happen anymore, then look at the countries that have the lowest abortion rates and look at what they're doing. Yeah, comprehensive sex ed might make you uncomfortable to talk about with your kids, or you might think it's a little uncomfortable for your kids to hear in class. But guess what happens if little Tommy doesn't get that comprehensive sex ed? He's more likely to have an unplanned pregnancy while he's still in high school. Look at the states that have the highest teen pregnancy rates. And then look at those schools that are making those numbers so high. Those schools are teaching abstinence-only sexual education. Here's a great example. Look at Bristol Palin. And I'm not shaming Bristol Palin for getting pregnant by any means, so don't think that. You know, she made her choices, and that's what her life is happening. That's what's happening in her life. And that's completely fine. That's her story. But she's promoting abstinence-only sexual education. Well, she's now had 2 pregnancies out of wedlock. And that's completely fine. You know, we live in 2015. Many people have pregnancies out of wedlock. But in her abstinence-only education that she promotes, she wants you to wait until you're married to have sex and to have babies. But yet she's out there doing the exact opposite. Well, that's exactly what happens when you have abstinence-only sexual education. But then you shame people into feeling bad about sex. Sex is a wonderful, great thing. We shouldn't feel bad for having it or having feelings of wanting to have sex with our partners. You shouldn't have to feel bad about that. It's a completely natural thing. But then you make people shame other people when you have abstinence-only sexual education. They go, oh, well, she had sex. She's a slut. I mean, come on. We're in 2015. Can't we get past this mentality already? But this doesn't just stop there on an individual basis. You have the political leaders. You have people in Congress. Or you have people who have their radio shows or TV shows. And they shame women for doing this. Or they don't understand ways to stop abortion or cut down the numbers of it. Because let's be honest, you're never going to completely cut abortion, especially in our lifetime. It's never going to happen. But they don't understand these facts that they're spewing out, that they're twisting into making other people radical, like Robert Deere, who shot up the Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs. That rhetoric makes people into these vile monsters like Robert Deere. And maybe monster's a little bit too good of a word for Robert Deere. But the guy is clearly off his rocker. Absolutely insane. But you have this system of our media and politics that dragged Planned Parenthood through the mud. Planned Parenthood didn't do anything legally wrong whatsoever. Whether you think them providing abortions is morally wrong or not, they didn't do anything legally wrong. Did anybody give them an apology in the media for slashing them and throwing them in the mud? No. You didn't hear Bill O'Reilly come out and say, oh, well, we had the committee. The committee said that Planned Parenthood didn't do anything wrong. You know, let's go with that. They ruled on it. That's what's happening. But I don't like abortion still. Bill O'Reilly could have said that, or Rush Limbaugh could have said that. No, they didn't say that. They said, oh, these committees, they didn't even have enough information. They were just fighting amongst themselves. They were a circus. I mean, if you're wrong, admit that you're wrong. If I say something on my podcast, and I have people come up to me or tweet to me or in the comments say, hey, you're wrong about this. Here's some facts and figures. I'm going to assess it. If I'm wrong, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say, hey, I was actually wrong about this. Here's the truth, or here's facts that I didn't know about. We have this system that perpetuates violence. And we got to break out of it. Otherwise, we're going to have more people like Robert Deere. We're going to have more people who are radical and attack these Planned Parenthoods or attack women in general for just being women. We live in a society where, yeah, women are almost equal as far as their rights go. They don't make as much as men do. But yet they're also treated as inferior towards men. Oh, you throw like a girl. You run like a girl. Come on. We have women who are doing combat roles now here in America. There's women who are doing combat roles all over the world. But no, here in America, oh, you're just a girl. Just a girl. But I think that people want that old world mentality. I think that there's people who are struggling to hold on to that women are subservient creatures mentality. And that's not the case. Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, his top companies are run by women. They're the most successful companies that he's invested in. They're run by women. We have women who are starting to have better paying careers in the long run than men are. Things aren't the way that they were in the 50s, everybody. But yet we still treat women as second-class citizens. We still have a system that puts women down. We still have a system that tries to shame women for being sexually active. We still have a system that says, oh no, you made that choice. It doesn't matter what happened, even if you didn't make that choice. It doesn't matter. That's what the system tells to us. That's what the conservative media says. It doesn't matter what happened to you in your past. It doesn't matter if you were raped or if you were a victim of incest. It doesn't matter. So people like Bill O'Reilly say, or other conservative media hosts. You have to live with that choice. What an absolute crock. But I'm glad that Planned Parenthood is standing strong. I'm glad that they're not giving in or throwing in the towel. I mean, they've been dealing with this crap for years. You know, there's been attacks on Planned Parenthood year after year after year. There's abortion providers who are murdered. They get death threats. There's bomb scares. There's actual bombings. There's arson. There was an anthrax scare, and I think it was 2002. I mean, these people come in and day out, and they're making a decent amount of money for the salaries. They're average, but not for what they put up with. I mean, think about it. If let's say you go into work, and every single day you get death threats. People who work at Planned Parenthood are pretty strong people. I'll tell you what. They take in people from all walks of life, and they have to deal with people who hate them and who wish for some of them to die, as we've seen in cases in the past, and here with Robert Deere, who shot up the Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs. Absolute lunatics are targeting these people who are providing services that are saving lives. Why don't we have people like Bill O'Reilly say, hey, you know, I'm not saying that anybody should go out and attack a Planned Parenthood. That's absolutely wrong, and that's not the way that you change the system. Why don't we have them say that? Why don't we have them swallow their pride? I mean, come on. We have people who listen to this dribble day in and day out. And then we wonder, oh, well, what could have been done differently? What can we do to stop these attacks? What can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Nobody's calling out the media on this. It's piped into people's houses 24/7. Especially now, with the internet being so prominent that it is. You listen to it anywhere you go now. If you don't want to escape this bile, take it with you. Download it on your phone. Stream it over Wi-Fi. Wherever you go, or your wireless network. But something's got to change. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. My name's Garrett Martin. You can find me on Twitter at CitizenSpeak or at CITZSpeak. I'm on YouTube. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Spreaker. I'm on SoundCloud. You know, wherever you find this, make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know if I'm on the right track or, you know, if I'm completely way off base. I want to know what you guys think. All right. Have a great day.